It's an issue that so many couples and women face, yet infertility is not a subject that many speak of openly.
Whether it's having trouble getting or staying pregnant, let's take a look at the numbers. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 1 in 8 couples has trouble with infertility. That translates into about 12% of married women, and there can be so much tension in a relationship over which partner has the issue. But get this, the American Society for Reproductive Medicine reports 1/3 of infertility is attributed to the female partner, 1/3 is attributed to the male partner. The society says the rest of the time it can be blamed on problems in both partners or is simply unexplained. For some women, it's a blocked fallopian tube that's the problem.
But now doctors have a better way to detect this problem, and it's a lot less painful than what it used to be.
It does feel neat.
Erin Dickin loves being mom to sons DJ and Joel.
They're very sweet and very loving.
After Joel was born, Erin's husband had a vasectomy. They thought they were finished having kids, but then
He had a vasectomy reversal.
with her boys, Erin had no trouble getting pregnant, but this time at age 38, she couldn't.
We thought it would work right away for us.
Dr. Sanjay Agarwal wanted to check Erin's fallopian tubes to make sure they weren't blocked. Traditionally, that meant having an X-ray HSG, a test where dye is injected into the tubes. The problem, it's painful.
One thing patients do remember from that experience is how uncomfortable it was for them.
Now, Dr. Agarwal is offering women something new called FemView Sono HSG. It uses tiny saline bubbles instead of dye and ultrasound instead of an X-ray.
With ultrasound, we can see if those bubbles go down the tubes and if the tubes are open. It's way less painful than a traditional HSG.
Tube blockage is the reason for infertility in about 40% of infertile women. It can happen because of fibroids, endometriosis, prior surgeries, an STD, or other causes. Erin had the new test and was happy to find out there was not a blockage.
Everything is fine with me.
She's hoping for a positive pregnancy test soon, and the icing on the cake would be a baby girl.
Being able to buy baby dolls. And just that.
You can still get pregnant if just one fallopian tube is blocked. In fact, one blocked tube only reduces your chance of fertility by 20%. Women who do have blocked tubes can get them treated surgically or can choose to have IVF. But Jimmy, once couples get past the infertility issues and their little bundle of joy arrives, there are still plenty of other concerns that seem to occupy parents' minds all the time.
Yes, there is. One in particular is sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS. It's just exactly what it sounds like, the sudden death of an infant, even healthy babies. According to kidshealth.org, SIDS is the leading cause of death for babies ages 1 month to 1 year old. SIDS will kill about 2,500 children each year. For years, researchers have looked for answers as to what causes SIDS. Why does it happen? And now they may finally have some answers.
People touch our lives, if only for a moment, and yet we're not the same. From that moment on, the time is not important. The moment is forever. And I just thought that was really beautiful.
Deborah White finds meaning and comfort in these words. She and her husband have 2 sons, but they also had a daughter.
She was only 12 weeks. And so her personality really started to come out right before she died.
Ginger White died of sudden infant death syndrome, or SIDS, while at daycare in 2008.
We loved her and we missed her very, very much.
For SIDS scientists, families like the Whites are motivation to find out why these babies are dying.
It's probably the greatest medical mystery.
Daniel Rubens is a children's anesthesiologist by trade, but for the past decade, he's also been dedicated to studying SIDS.
Children go to sleep under my care all the time, so somehow I was just drawn to that and the mystery of it.
His 2008 study was the first to find a link between inner ear damage and SIDS. The paper got a lot of attention and sparked some controversy.
I was pretty curious, a little skeptical to be honest, and then we started to talk and I said, wow, this is really something out of the blue.
Nino Ramirez is the director of the Center of Integrative Brain Research. The unique partnership between Ramirez and Rubens was key to the newest findings. Back in 2008, Rubens had theories about babies' ear injuries and SIDS, but he couldn't prove it. After years of experimenting, Rubens, Ramirez, and a team of more than a dozen other children's scientists now say they know what's happening. The inner ear has an important relationship with the brainstem, which controls breathing. In this simulation, a healthy baby flipped to its stomach in their sleep, their face is pushed against a blanket. But soon, the child shifts to get air. The researchers believe babies with ear damage have a disrupted connection to the brainstem, and that's why they don't move to get fresh air. They've been able to replicate the scenario here in the lab with mice.
Now suddenly everything makes sense, and we're slowly transforming literally the field of sudden infant death syndrome.
Hearing loss is a symptom of the ear injury that Seattle researchers think makes kids more at risk for SIDS. Hearing tests are standard for newborns, and Ginger White failed hers the first time.
Didn't think anything of it.
But Deborah White can't help thinking about it now.
It's exciting, I think, for one. It gives us parents some hope.
Isn't that something? Researchers plan to launch a large-scale study in the UK next month. The hope is one day there will be tests to detect and prevent SIDS. In the meantime, healthy experts say one thing you can do to try to prevent SIDS is put a sleeping baby on his or her back. You do not want to place them on their stomach. And something else noteworthy about SIDS, according to Kids Health, they report that more boys than girls fall victim, and the incidences increase during cold weather.
How about that? Well, the sooner we get definitive answers, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, something else that can impact our little ones, measles. It's even here on Delmarva. Up next, why health professionals are so alarmed and what warning they have for you.
Well, when it comes to measles, you can't ignore the anti-vaccination movement. One mother even says getting the measles may actually be better for her child than getting the vaccine. We're going to hear her argument and find out how one doctor is responding.
We also take a look at who the CDC recommends should get the vaccine and when. And get this, it's not just children. But first, we're talking about our kids, but mom needs to make sure she's taking care of herself too, especially after giving birth. Dr. Oz has more on postnatal care.
Hi, I'm Dr. Oz. New moms need to look out for their own health in addition to the health of their baby. After giving birth, your body needs time for rest and recovery, so don't overexert yourself in those first few days. You may have to limit activities like climbing stairs, and talk to your doctor at your 6-week postpartum exam about resuming normal activities.